I wish I could say just how widespread it is, but the International Development Committee of the House of Commons said that there's so little data, we just don't know how big a problem it is, except they say the whole industry is being complacent to the level of complicit. And we know from the food for sex scandals in West Africa, the whistleblower scandals in Bosnia, that senior people in the aid industry have known this problem for over 30 years. And indeed, the National Crime Agency in the United Kingdom says, as we crack down on predatory pedophiles in the developed world, predators now go to the developing world, and their chosen methodology to get access to children is to join a children's charity.
It is really surprising, isn't it? Because you'd think when people go to work for a humanitarian organisation, they're there to help people. Do you think that the humanitarian organisations themselves are turning a blind eye, though?
Yes, I do. Again, I will use the quote from the International Development Committee of the House of Commons: complacent verging on complicit. They've been knowing for 30 years that this is a problem, and they've been saying for 30 years, we have zero tolerance. Yet not a single prosecution of an aid worker who has abused a child under the age of 16. Not a single NGO or aid agency out there is actively looking for victims and helping those victims get justice. Not a single aid agency has got a passport for the children, because in many cases, the children are entitled to a passport of their fathers. Now, when you look at that statistic, zero prosecution, zero passports, you've got to ask, are they taking it seriously to say zero tolerance when there's zero action?
Now, how does your programme work, and how do you find the people that you're hunting down? Do you speak to the victims? Just talk us through that process and what it is you're hoping to achieve.
So firstly, we need to get full prior informed consent of the victims, which means explaining the process to the victims in detail and making sure they understand the risks open to them. And what we do is we take the DNA of the child and we share that with publicly available databases and track the extended family members. And by tracking the extended family members, we can triangulate back to the father. And that once we contact the father, we then leave it up to him to decide to do the right thing, or we take him to court.